Hello everybody, welcome to our live studio show here, MXGP-TV.com. It's round 6 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, and this is the MXGP of Flanders, Belgium, and we are at the ridiculously deep sandy circuit of Lommel. And joining us on our studio show today, obviously Lisa Leyland, resident. We've got Lewis Phillips from MX Vice, Wilson Todd from Bike It, MTX Kawasaki, and Glenn Coldenhoff, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP team. Before we catch up with those guys though, Lisa Leyland, back at the beach, just like being at Barcelona, isn't it?
I forgot my sunscreen. Which is annoying. But yeah, it's like being back at home. It's great weather this weekend as well planned. So.
Well, I tell you what, I wish I'd have bought my bucket and spade.
It's a home GP for you though, Paul, isn't it?
Just 15 minutes down the road. Perfect. But you know what? Let's crack on with the show. We've got a lot to get through today, especially with this guy because he's like Max Anstey reincarnated, and he's given one question. He will fire off. And Lewis Phillips, MX Vice.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say.
Welcome.
You've only given me 8 minutes, so...
Welcome to our studio show here on MXGP-TV. Before we keep, delve in under the covers, what have you made of the season so far, generally?
It's been good, isn't it? Like, I feel like we, as MXGP fans, deserve a title fight with Tim, Prado, Crowley, Hurlins, and we were getting that. It was very nice. Obviously, Os was a bit of a spanner in the works, but maybe we can still... hope for the best, and maybe this weekend will work out for us and we'll still get that title fight with everyone healthy. But Lockett obviously turned it on its head again. Yeah. And in many ways, this is like round 1 all over again, which is a good place to be. Yeah, it's very close in the championship in MXGP, and we're specifically going to talk about MXGP. Tim Geiser, what have you made of him so far? He kicked off in Russia, 2 wins, very impressive. And the paddock gossip around at the time was if he continues that kind of form over the first few races, not game over, but it's going to be very difficult for people to claw back. What did you make of his performance? And how have you sort of seen his championship so far this year? Yeah, it's crazy. Like, after Russia, I was genuinely sat there thinking, okay, this might not be as exciting as we maybe would have hoped. But then since then, he's been solid, but not that Tim. Like, his last moto win now was a month ago, which I think gets overlooked because of his consistency. He's 2-3, 4-2. He's right there, which is what you want from a champion. But it's certainly not been that Tim, which, as fans, we can be thankful for, because that might not have been the most exciting to watch. But, yeah, I think it's crazy to say, I still can't believe that we say it, consistency may be his greatest strength nowadays.
Well, a solid start for Jeffrey Hurlings as well, but, of course, in Oz, that was such a shame, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was a tough one for us to get over, let alone Jeffrey. Based on how emotional it was for us, I can't imagine how he felt after that. But it's a hard one, isn't it? Because it's Jeffrey, yeah, he's injured again. There's nothing, that wasn't his fault in the slightest. There's no way any blame goes on him there. But the impressive thing there was the performance he put in afterwards. Clearly got landed on by, 110 kilo bike plus, however Monticelli is, 60, 70 kilos, whatever. That's a lot of weight, a lot of force going through that left wing. And he had a few laps just to sort of settle down, and then he came back to win it. That was probably the most impressive thing, but kind of underlines the fact that how much of an alien he is. Yeah, that's the type of ride he'll be remembered for. Like, in 10 years' time, okay, I'm sure we'll all talk about the titles, I'm sure we'll talk about the wins. I think we'll be talking about rides like that and Latvia 2019. Okay, well, moving on to Jorge Prado. Last weekend, Lockett, we saw it so resurgent. First race win, first podium visit. Was that the kind of reboot to his campaign, do you think? Yeah, the first 4 rounds were fine. They weren't bad. They weren't necessarily good by his expectations. They were fine. And it turns out, I spoke to him after the race, and it turns out he's still dealing with the after effects of COVID from November last year. Yeah. Which, obviously, some people have that, some people don't. I guess he's one of the unlucky ones. So that's still in his system, and he's struggling with fitness and just general breathing because of that. He thinks he's got it under control now. He thinks he's moving forward. Clearly, Lockett was a good example of that. So maybe this is it. Maybe now we see the Prado we expect. And you touched on it at the beginning of the program where Lockett threw a real spanner in the works. Because of Tim falling in that second race, the championship is now kind of come back together, hasn't it? Not a lot of points between the first four guys, and Prado now very much in the title hunt. Third? Yep. Yeah, I think these next 2 rounds are going to be key, because Tony and Prado will both look at these 2 rounds as their tracks. They'll look at this as a time where they can make up ground on Tim. Obviously, Tim's a great rider in the sand. We saw that last year. But
those riders are, they have more history in the sand, let's say.
What about the other guys? Obviously, Tony Cairoli, we've got Fevre, Coldenhoff, Jeremy Seewer, big hitters in MXGP. Where do you see, obviously, I guess the most impressive this year is, out of that group has been the youngster, Tony Cairoli.
Well, I would almost go with Fevre, because if you sat there right now and said to me, oh, Lewis, Fevre's been the fastest rider at every round this year, I'd go, okay,
yeah.
I can't argue with that. That's certainly like a valid point. But he's making mistakes. But that speed is exciting because that's early 2016 Fevre speed, which we haven't seen in a long time.
No, you're right. And he's kind of, his undoing at the moment is one good race and then a bad race.
Yeah.
And that's where the consistency needs to kind of figure itself out, isn't it? How do you think he'll do here? Because he has won a race here before.
I'd imagine he'll be fast.
Yeah.
But I don't, because Oss was unbelievable. He was so good at Oss, like so good. That was probably his best race of the year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win here, you know. I think he would be my pick for tomorrow.
Oh, interesting. Well, a couple of rookies to mention as well. Ben Watson, TKO. Any surprises there?
I think some people are surprised by Ben, but the Watson wagon has obviously been rolling along quite nicely. Each week it's been getting better. And Lockett, for instance, people look at that and they go, oh yeah, well maybe the results weren't great. Those first few laps are everything. The result means nothing. The first few laps, he showed that he can run the pace. He showed he can chase Tim. He can chase Prado. He can go with them. Intensity was a problem for him in MX2. Clearly not in MXGP. So it's all positive with Ben, I think. I don't think there's any way you can point to anything negative through the first couple of rounds.
Yeah, and obviously still trying to find his feet as well. There's been a couple of races where he's been a little bit timid, maybe just let the more established ones come by, maybe just to try and learn a bit, as well. But solid start. Obviously, Olsen's just been a bit up and down.
Yeah.
Many expected him because of his size, his frame, to kind of be in there straight away within the top 10s.
Yeah, he's kind of been invisible a little bit. Like, there hasn't been a good start. There hasn't been any point where you're like, oh, look at Olsen. And I'd imagine that's frustrating for him, especially looking at what Ben's doing, because you'd bet that he would think that he'd be ahead of Ben. But, again, sounds good for him. So maybe this weekend's a turning point for him, but it's also good for Ben. So it's also good for Tony, it's good for Pratt. Like
who is it not good for? Well, look, we've got 30 seconds left. Briefly, MX2, we've been missing Tom Vial. We saw him with a second place finish in the first race in Lockett a week ago. How do you expect him to sort of pick up from here?
I'm not ruling Tom out of the title fight. Still not. I can't do it. He's too good. He's too consistent. When he's on form, he can't be beaten in MX2. And if he can pick that up quite quickly, obviously the other guys are inexperienced in title fights, inconsistent. I think the door will be open at some point.
All right, well, look, Lewis Phillips, thanks for your input and insight. Good to have you on the show again. It's been a while.
Yeah,
but
triumphant return.
But we'll touch base again in future, I'm sure, and maybe even later on in the year. But Lewis Phillips, MX Vice, thanks for joining us now. Wilson Todd is in, getting ready to talk to us, but before we catch up with him, here's highlights from MX2 Race 2 from Lockett 1 week ago. A good jump from the 101 of Guadagnini over on the far right-hand side. He's pulling everybody over to this outside. Keeping an eye on the two Yamahas in the middle there, and Renault comes out in second position. And Vial down at the bottom of your screen. The rider who finished second, we've got riders down in the waves as well. It's slick, it's hard. Hoffer under attack here from the number 959 of Maxime Renault on the first lap. He needs to push now. He does. Van der Moosdijk looking for a move at the inside of Gifting. Succeeds as well. Oh, he just dived in. Too aggressive. Vial in the wars again. Out of the points. Kiert struggling to find a way through. Goes the long way round. Fernandez was maybe tighter to the inside than we first thought. Again, almost side by side as they reach turn 2. This time he gets better drive and takes the Spaniard. Jago Geerts all of a sudden up into 5th place. This part of the racetrack. Same move, same repeated, and this time he closes down the door. Doesn't give him any comeback. He'll hold the inside line at the bottom of the hill as well. Just has one look across to make sure he's made the pass stick, and he has. Mattia Guadagnini. Oh, throws it away. That will be the championship lead decided as it stands right now, because Jago Geerts has found his way past Guadagnini. That'll be for 4th place. Hoffer making Kietz work. He has to go to the outside. He cuts back to the inside here at the end of the straight into turn 2. Kietz goes through. It's a Yamaha 1-2-3 as we head uphill. Oh, back end just getting out of shape. And Renault just hangs on from Jargo Kietz, but it's a Monster Energy Yamaha 1-2-3 here in race 2. Thibaut Beneston, he cruises to victory to win race 2. He gets himself on the podium here in Locket. Guadagnini, overall Grand Prix win here. Renault and Beneston join him on the podium, 2nd and 3rd. Maxime Renault arrived here with the championship leader's red plate. He's the first one to successfully defend that, but there's just 2 points between him and Guadagnini. Hey everybody, welcome back to our live studio show here on MXGP-TV.com with me, Paul Malin, Lisa Leyland, and our second guest has joined us now, Wilson Todd from Bike Kit MTX Kawasaki. And first time on the studio show for you, and all the way from Australia. Let's delve straight in. 6 races into your MX2 career, including Mattingly last year. How's the experience been so far? It's been a tough one, hasn't it? It's not been easy.
No, it has been a little bit tough. Obviously, I haven't really had like a pre-season like everyone else. You know, we're coming in. I had a surgery before the first round, so obviously I did a bit of riding back at home before I came. I just had a stock 450 and did some riding there, and then I came over and I did a British Championship, and like I just thought it was time, because like, for my entire career I've just really struggled with arm pump like every time I ride. So we did a British, and then pretty much rang up the next day and booked it in kind of thing. So had a few weeks off there, and then it's sort of, I didn't really get to do much testing on the bike, and also I didn't get to get the ride time in that I needed. So like healed from that, and then I had a couple of weeks before round 1, but I had to did some British Championships, so and without any practice, so I wasn't really in condition, and I was tearing my hands up, and then I'd need couple of days off because I had a race the next weekend, and it just so going into Russia I probably had like 2 days practice on the bike other than the racing itself, and you know, we've had some bit of trouble with getting some parts with the bike, so you know, like the first couple Russia was pretty much the start, and that's pretty much when I started riding. I started getting better. I've been able to practice since then, so I think that there's definitely going to be more to come, and you can see that like the results are improving a little bit, and I think there's a lot more to come.
Well, you did mention that you had the arm pump surgery, but a lot of riders do seem to be getting it done, not just in MXGP, but also in MotoGP as well. So was it something that you feel was really holding you back in your career then?
Yeah, 100%. I've lost a lot of like in Australia, I've lost a lot of races with arm pump. It's been an every time thing, but I never really got it done because you hear so many bad stories about it not working, and like it costs a lot of money to get done. So I sort of was, you know, do I get it? Do I not? It might not work, and it might cost a lot. But I definitely I just wish I did it sooner. It's the best thing I ever did. Well,
that was my next question: was has it actually worked for you? Is it success?
Yeah, no, I haven't had arm pump since, and before I'd get it almost every time I rode. Like really quite bad where I couldn't open my fingers or anything, but now it's all good. Now it's just, you know, I'm just catching up on that bike fitness that I've been lacking, but it's been getting better and better each week.
Well, let's fast forward to Oss then, the Netherlands, 6th in race 1. Guess you got to be happy with that then.
No, it was pretty good. You got to be happy with that. Like I got passed by a few people, but
given where you'd come from in terms of the pre-season and everything else.
So I was getting past, and a couple guys went down, but I was happy to finish 6th. But last weekend, I feel, even though it was a 7th, I feel like it was better. Because I didn't really get passed by as many people. I held my ground a bit more. where in Oz, like, I relied on a few people going down, so I think it's getting better. Oz was definitely good. Like, I just kept it up on 2 wheels. The second race was also looking all right, but I was behind Hopper, and I was just trying to get around him, and I just trying silly stuff, I guess, and went down, and that hurt the overall a bit on that weekend. But you know, all in all, it's improvements in the right direction.
And you mentioned Lockett last week, 7th place, so another top 10 finish. I guess presumably the race fitness is coming back, and the arms, situation is holding up.
Yeah, for sure. The race fitness it's getting better. Like, it's definitely not great. So, but it's more like the intensity at the start of the races when the boys really go for it. My tongue's sort of like in the chain a little bit, but at the end of the race, like, I can still keep going. Like, I have the long fitness kind of thing, where I can keep going at the end of the race, but I just don't have that enough for the intensity at the start, where I sort of just get passed by people, and then I sort of hold my ground after then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, racing yourself back to full fitness isn't easy. How far off 100% would you say you were?
I reckon I'd be at least a good 80%. Like, I got good fitness. I'm just lacking that intensity at the start where the boys can just sort of get around me and I can't stick with them. I don't think it's majorly far away, but also like we're gonna have some bike improvements soon. Like, if I say, like, the bike's really close to standard. We've had a lot of troubles like getting all parts and that, but I think in the next few weeks all that stuff's gonna start coming in. I should be up the front at the start a bit more often, and hopefully you'll help me with the intensity at the start and also the fitness. And so I'm hopeful that the next few GPs and the rest of the season is just going to get better and better.
So that first podium within touching distance, do you think?
Well, I don't know. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. Like, I do believe that I can do it. Like, when I'm riding out there, I don't, and when I'm riding with the other boys, I don't see, like, I'm not scratching my head going, how am I going to catch these guys? I can see myself I can see the little bits of improvements I need here and there, and I know once I get them, then I'm in contention.
And actually, like, 20 seconds, and it is just those little margins now, isn't it? Like, just a tenth here and a tenth there, and all of a sudden, over the course of a lap, there's 3/4 of a second or a second, and that's the difference. Yeah,
that's right. So even qualifying last weekend in Oz, like, I've been off quite a bit in the past, but in Lockett, I was there the whole lap. It was just the last sector I was really struggling with, and I knew I was struggling, but if I cleaned up that, I'd be much further up the qualifying list. Like I said, I'm not scratching my head. I know that I can do it. I just got to get the little bits together,
All right, well, look, wish you all the luck for here and for the rest of the season. Wilson, Todd, thanks for joining us. Glenn Coldenhoff is getting ready to come in now, but before we meet him, here's highlights from MXGP Race 2 Lockett, Czech Republic, a week ago. Great atmosphere starting to build ahead of MXGP Race 2. Again, fifth Fox hole shot of the season, side by side with Tony Cairoli. Well, that's a perfect start for the Italian. Tony Cairoli leads the way. He's found his way past Jorge Prado. Coldenhoff commits to the outside again. He hurt. Oh, great move that from Tim Geiser. Didn't want to hang around either, did he? Throws it down. The first mistake goes to the championship leader. Geiser crossed the line in 22nd position. He has 18.5 minutes in which to gather some points. Oh, nicely done for Jeremy Seawer. Charges down the inside of Prado, takes over second position. Good to see Sean Simpson up there, finally getting a good start in 6th place. Sean Simpson under attack from Calvin Verlandren. This is for 6th position. Oh! Verlandren. Oh, Vevra down at the end of the straight. Lost the front end. Picks himself up. All that hard work done. It just went so quickly for the number 3. Tony Cairoli crosses the line for his 3rd race win of the season. Jorge Prado crosses the line victorious in 2021. Geiser getting back to 15th. It does give him an 11-point advantage though.
Oh, the second moto was hard. I knew it would be hard. It drained between motos, so the track was really rough. I stayed in front of Glenn all moto, pushing very hard. He was there the whole time, like first moto with Tim, and I could keep my nerves and ride smooth, or as smooth as I can, and so happy about it. Going 1-3 for the overall first victory of the season. Let's keep it rolling.
Great job. Thanks, Jorge.
Welcome back to the final part of our live studio show here on MXGP-TV.com with me, Paul Mayland, Lisa Leyland, and our 3rd and final guest, Glenn Coldenhoff, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP. And Glenn, this one, Belgium here in Lommel, kind of like a second home GP for you. Are you looking forward to being in the sand and all that again?
Yeah, I guess I love it, no? No, I've had very good results here, but also very bad things happened. So, but I always love coming here. It's the toughest GP of the year, and I feel like I'm ready again, so ready to go.
Well, let's go back to the beginning of the season just briefly. It was a tough start for you in Orléans in Russia. Was that just pure bad luck that weekend?
Yeah, I feel like first moto I got a big someone hit me from the side, and you know, it was quite tough, hurt my knee pretty bad, and so I was fired up for that second moto, and you know, the starts are very important, so I went in hard, but yeah, someone hit me from the inside and went down hard again, so I think only 17th or 18th overall, which is of course not where we want to be, and was really disappointing. But on the other hand, you know, I had a really good feeling in Russia, and that's normally a track I don't like. So yeah, for me it was good that the feeling at least was good, you know. So in the end, 17th or 18th overall, but left still with a positive feeling, so that's important.
Well, since then, things seem to be looking good. You even got a podium in Italy, your first in blue. A huge boost for you at that point, I guess. Yeah,
sure, you know. It was a difficult start, and changing teams is never easy. But yeah, we had quite a lot of time, you know, to adjust things, and I feel like the team and all the crew within Yamaha did a great job, and yeah, already third GP and straight to the podium, which is good for me, because normally I'm a guy who just get in the flow a bit later in the season. And so only positive things for me, and I'm feeling good with the Yamaha. The bike is really good and really strong, so yeah, I had good to be back on the podium, so yeah, I had a good feeling.
Not an easy place when it rains, Majora.
No, definitely not, but I took the whole shot just on the right time, you know. It started raining very hard in that moto, or just before that moto, and pulled the whole shot. Could lead for at least half of the moto, maybe 3/4, so it was good, but in the end I was struggling a little bit. I was not comfy anymore halfway through the moto, and yeah, only Jeffrey passed me, and still got the podium, second overall, and yeah, with 3 guys on the podium with the same points is it's a shame that you don't win on that time. But in the end, you know, it's good. It was positive, and I guess my season started from there on.
Yeah.
Well, you look set for another podium visit in Oz as well. Things, okay, they didn't go to plan in the end, but just tell us, how was that first race leading in front of all your home fans?
Yeah, it was really nice. I mean, Alpine Star had a special gear there for me, and you know, as I'm born in Oz, Oz was really a home GP for me, and all my friends, all my sponsors, everybody was there, and the crowd was really behind us, and to do that in front of your home crowd was really nice. All motor long I had pressure, not only from Fabre but also from Geyser, and in the end also from Jeffrey. And I feel like, you know, it was a very intense moto, especially if you need to defend all the time, you know, because if you can take your own laps and just get in a certain kind of flow, it's more easy to ride. But yeah, I had someone behind for all the moto, which made it very hard.
Yeah.
But you were hauling off.
Yeah.
Your dad jokes are getting worse and worse and worse.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Yeah, shame about the second race, but you know, it was actually, I think it was my first time I'd ever been there. Someone said I maybe raced a GP there back in the 125 days, but I don't remember it. And it was either there or Mill, maybe, where I kind of you know, rang my bell. So, but I thought it was a great track, and I think the organisers need to sort of feel proud about that.
Yeah, I do think so. You know, especially a sand track with some hills is for sure really cool already, and yeah, I think it's pretty unique to have that in the Netherlands. And yeah, it's a cool track, and the atmosphere was amazing, and you know, also for the public, they could see a lot. So it's a really cool place.
Well, last week, 2 fourth place finishes, just missed the podium in Lockett, but I guess the goal anyway is to try and make the podium. But,
yeah.
How cool will it be to land on the box here in Belgium?
Yeah, really cool. I mean, yeah, after that crash, I didn't train for all week. So Lockett was in the end very positive. We changed a little bit the goal for that weekend, and to be consistent in top 5, and managed to do that. So yeah, that was really good. And if I look to this week now, we have been training hard, and I feel like I'm ready for, let's say, the war which is going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. And yeah, to get a podium here on the toughest race on the year would be amazing. Yeah.
Well, looking in from the outside, it seems that in MXGP things are pretty open this year. As a rider, would you say that's the case? And if so, why do you think that is?
I do think so. I mean, the class is very competitive, and yeah, if you look at all the race winners this year, I think I've been maybe 5 or 6 already, and I'm not been in there yet, so it's about time. But no, it's really strong, and I feel like there are, let's say, 5, 6 top guys which can win any time, you know, and I think that's pretty cool for the MXGP in general, but also for us, you know, knowing that the victory is on the line every time, and yeah, we're able to do that. So it makes good racing.
Okay, well look, before we let you go, just a quick reminder for our viewers here how you can watch MXGP on MXGP-TV.com, of course. Brand new platform this year, brand new era, new everything, new look, very easy to navigate. And if you already have it, hope you're enjoying all the action on the new platform as it unfolds during the season, and studio shows and behind the gates and all the races live, uninterrupted, with no commercials as well. But before we go, Glenn Coldenhoff, just real quick, starting from here then, in terms of you know, the rest of the season, what is the end goal now?
You know, I'm pretty far back already for the championship, but anything can happen. The season is still long, and obviously the goal is to get, you know, the world title. Yeah. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I hope to get in that flow and get podium positions every weekend. I think that's the most important, and I will give anything for that, and yeah, just work as hard as I can and as smart as I can. So we'll see.
Key word, smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably not the only one, but anyway, Glenn Coldenhoff, thanks for joining us, and all the best here and for the rest of the season. Before we go, just a quick reminder, coming up today, we've got European and women action again. So in 45 minutes after this broadcast, we've got 12:15, the first European two-stroke race. Then we're straight into WMX Race 1, EMX 250 Race 1, and then second race as well. And you can join us from 9:30 tomorrow with MX2 time practice. We'll So thanks for watching. See you next time when we do it again in, where are we next week? Latvia?
I don't know.
Yeah, Latvia. 4 in a row. I've already lost my marbles. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.